Harshal, that's where you can put that into your Discord. And then Jay, this is where you can post it into our Discord. And then Miriam, you can send it to whoever you want. And then yeah, Jay, Christian, Dean, in this case, it's Saturday afternoon. So I would say all three of you just watch the YouTube chat. Don't worry about the Discord in this case. And then Harshal, do whatever you want. But if y'all have any questions from the Hack and See State side, then you can go and post it in here. Okay, so the YouTube link is there in the Zoom chat now. Everyone can go and post it. Like I said before, if anyone has questions from the audience, post it in the Zoom chat first. And then if there's an appropriate time, I'll bring it up to Miriam.
Awesome. I'm so excited to talk to everyone.
Yeah. So let me I'm going to post the questions into the Zoom chat, or I guess the interview questions. And this is just to guide you because you already prepared your stuff, and you sent the slides to me as well. But if necessary, you can refer to those questions. And then when you're done with your talk, I can refer to them as well if you haven't covered something. So let me pull up your PDF. And then which, by the way, the graphics looked amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I put that together yesterday.
It does not look like yesterday.
Well, I've given the same presentation before, so
Yeah.
some of the slides did exist from before, from a previous talk, but I also had 24 or 48 hours to also put that together too.
Oh, hey, it works. Okay, so all right. So we're going to do an introduction and then I will jump into the screen share. So I guess Harshal, anything you want us to prepare, or are we good to start?
I think we're good to start.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining us online. We have with us a proud NC State alum, Miriam, Reza. And just as a reminder, today it's also Hack NC State. So this is a joint event between HackDW3C for the Duke Web 3 conference and Hack NC State. And since I always forget to introduce myself, I'm Scotty Shaw. I graduated Duke 2009. I am helping to create the Duke Web 3 conference, and this online hackathon is part of that. I'd like to welcome Harsha Suthar, who is a proud NC State student, soon to be alum. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Scotty. So like Scotty said, I'm Harsha Suthar. I'm currently a senior at NC State studying computer science, and this year I am the lead director for Hack NC State, which is NC State's largest in-person hackathon. So Hack NC State is happening this weekend, April 8th and 9th. We are in the midst of the hackathon right now. So if you're watching live, hello, thanks for tuning in. And we hope that this talk will be a great resource for you if you are interested in NFTs or if you want to get into the Web3 space, and look forward to enhancing this collaboration between HackDW3C and also Hack NC State. Thank you.
All right. And just so you know, if you go to NC State and you are not in engineering building 2, you can go room 1021 or 1025, then you should do that because, well, it's on your own campus, right? And with us today is a proud NC State alum who probably would be there if she could. Miriam, Reza, how are you doing today?
Hello, doing great. Thank you. So excited to talk to all of you today.
All right. Yeah, thank you for joining us online. I'm going to screen share for your slideshow that you prepared. There we go. So that might not be the best screen share. Oh, okay, that's not necessarily any better. All right, let's do it this way.
see. Well,
Okay.
as you can see, I have quite a bit of background in creating NFTs. Scotty is pulling up the page.
All right. That's part. There we go.
Perfect. Looks great. Awesome. So, hello, my name's Miriam Reza, as Scotty has introduced. I'm an NC State alum. I have a background in illustration, marketing, and design. And just upfront, or just a few of the projects I've worked on, if you'll be at the Duke Web3 conference this year, you will be getting a Donut Doge NFT, which is the blue dog on the bottom there. So definitely come attend. So a little bit about myself. I run Chymira LLC, which is a design agency that creates illustrations and marketing materials for tech and Web3 companies. I've been working with blockchain startups and helping them to secure fundraising. And in doing so, I've created a lot of ads, ad campaigns, different marketing materials for that. But I've also gotten to learn a lot about blockchain along the way and how blockchain can be used in a lot of unique situations. Along the way, I've kind of got into creating NFT collections. So I've worked on over 10 projects. Probably the first one that was really successful was I worked with a DAO called Des Femmes, and they are a women's magazine that supports women in tech. I illustrated their collection of NFTs, which sold out in about a week, which is a pretty big accomplishment in the Web3 space of like, it's a lot like startups. 99% of projects fail in the startup space, and that's very similar also in Web3 too, in that a lot of projects have a lot of potential, but it takes a lot of hard work, investment, and a good team to put that together. So I worked on several different projects. I'm also working with Duke's Web3 conference, currently putting together some of the marketing materials for that. And I'm also working on illustrating a collection of space dragons for NFT, the movie that's going to release later this month. The Dragon Collection, not the movie, just to clarify. So for those of you who don't know what NFTs are, NFT stands for non-fungible tokens. They can be traded or exchanged. And what's really wonderful about them is that because they're more than just an image, they being blocked on the blockchain allows them to be traceable. You can find information like who the artist was, about the collection. It's time-stamped onto the blockchain so that people can see that permanent record of where that artwork came from, or music, or whatever else it is that you decide to put on NFT technology, because NFTs are more than just JPEGs or photos. They're also video files, audio files, music, movies, and we're only at the beginning of what you can really create. So there's a lot of reasons that you might want to own an NFT for yourself. Maybe you just love the artwork. Maybe you want to use it as a profile photo to signify that you're part of a certain community. If you have a Bored Apes photo, I'm sure if you've seen those kind of cartoon apes or are familiar with that, that's a big shill being brag to say that you own one of those and to show that off. NFTs can be a monetary donation into a cause. Sometimes NFT projects have a split where they put part of their money towards different organizations or fundraise for different causes. It could be a ticket to an event. We've seen Ticketmaster is now going to be issuing NFTs to get experiences. So that's kind of bizarre to see. A lot of big companies also getting into that space and using NFTs for their product offerings. You could just use it as an ownership, as an asset, because NFTs can have value. And if you really support an artist and want to see, you know, they're going to grow, you could have it as a monetary asset, or there could be many different utilities attached to a project. So there are many reasons to own an NFT. So that also goes along with there are many reasons to create NFTs. Maybe you want to impact your community. You want to fundraise money for a cause, or you want your work memorialized on the blockchain. Biggest advice I would give people is don't do it just strictly for the money, because again, NFTs are like startup projects. It takes a lot of time, resources, and you need to build a community to make sure that it is a product that people want, because NFTs are essentially kind of like products. So, of course, that goes without saying that getting into any new space, there are definitely a lot of things to be aware of, and there are definitely some red flags to be on the lookout for. Not to scare you, but it definitely helps to have the education to know what you're getting into when you are creating projects. So some things to speak from experience in creating some of my own projects is you might have fake marketing companies contact you. You might have influencers who say, like, I can boost your engagement. I can get you more members on your Discord. I can get you more likes on your posts or your social media following, or get more eyeballs so that people can see your projects. The bigger your project is, the more likely you're going to have a lot of people contact you. You might even have bots. Be really careful if people try to impersonate your account and protect your information, because you can become a target if you do put your name out there in the space. Although if you choose to remain undoxed, which means you do not have your name publicly available, that does make it really hard for people to be able to trace the project too. So you have to be really comfortable with, if your name is going to be publicly attached to your project, just being aware of the limitations of how to protect yourself in your projects. So just a few accounts to get started, of course, in crypto and also NFTs. Having a wallet is important and essential in order to hold your NFTs. You need accounts to fund those wallets. So having a Coinbase, Robinhood, Cash App, or just whatever account you feel comfortable with in setting up, getting money from into your wallet is really important so that you can trade NFTs, you can be able to mint, be able to have funds for those gas fees. And of course, you need to be able to reach out and share what you're doing or connect with people. So getting on Discord, Twitter, and Telegram are great community applications to be a part of. And of course, to list your NFTs, it helps to put it on marketplaces, or if you want to buy NFTs, that is also a great place to look. I've just listed a few of the most common ones: Rarible, OpenSea, and Wax, but there are a lot more new marketplaces constantly being discovered. And these are just a few resources to help you get started. So a few considerations when you're making NFTs is to think about what blockchain you would want to put your NFT on. You might want to choose to adopt something that is more common or widely available. Ethereum is often a choice that many people turn towards because it is really easy to get market adoption for people who are newer into crypto or NFTs, as it is one of the most common cryptocurrencies. But there are many other different blockchains that you can be a part of, and a strategy can be, if you want your NFT to be more exclusive, to choose a blockchain that maybe isn't as widely known. That can be a strategy too, because it is a product. You do want to think about, how many do you want to mint? How available do you want them to be? How rare will some of them be? How do you want to price them? You could price your strategy of, like, some of your NFTs could be very valuable if you have unique attributes to them, or you could make some of them just like all very affordable if you just want. There are just many different strategies. So a lot of things to consider. Think about who your audience is. What do they want? How familiar are they with crypto? And what are you promising them? The space is constantly evolving, so there isn't really a guidebook or tutorial on what is the best way to, like, price your NFTs or put together your whole entire campaign strategy. There isn't really any magic formula to make money, and we're all learning in the space. But I think you learn as you create is the best way to really kind of learn in the space. That being said, some things I've noticed that with all good NFT projects, and really crypto projects in general, they're credible. You can usually trace information as to, like, who the founders is, or you can find information about the cause that donation funds will be going towards. Strong projects usually have a good sense of credibility, and they often provide utility more than just being a JPEG. A lot of good, strong projects often have a donation, or they have a membership access. If you buy into your NFT, you're getting more than just a JPEG. Usually when you get a good NFT projects often have to have good marketing strategies to get in front of the eyeballs of your customers. And having a strong community is crucial. Probably the most essential part about having a good project is you need a community in order to be able to sell to them. So when you put together an NFT collection, if you're minting a one of one, which is a single individual NFT, it's usually a lot simpler. But if you're doing a collection with hundreds or thousands, it really helps to have a team to put that together. Having a developer to code the smart contracts is really helpful. You would want an operations manager to manage the ins and outs of your NFT project, as it is kind of a business. A social media manager helps in getting the word out, and you definitely want someone to manage communications and answer those questions that your fans have on when is your collection releasing, or just the newest updates and everything. Having someone who is in tune with what is going on with your project and able to answer those questions for your fans is super important. And of course, someone to create the NFTs too, because you can't have an NFT collection without the actual NFT itself. So having a creative. So this is just a simplified roadmap of what you would experience when you create your NFT projects. Just you want to plan for your collection on what you're making, maybe do some research into, are you creating something unique? Is this something that's been done before? What have people done in the past? Build up that community space. It really helps. The earlier you can build your community, the more fans and an audience that you can build out before your collection is ready. Because it takes often maybe 3 or 4 months to build up a sizable community, that if you just go straight to launching your projects and you don't have that fan base, it is really hard to build that up. So it helps to maybe throw some events, have some Twitter spaces, tell people about what you're doing and why you're doing it, and get people involved into why they'd want to join your community or join your NFT projects. In addition to that, after you do launch, it's helpful to think, how are you going to sustain the utility? How are you going to keep your community engaged? And what plans do you have for your projects after people buy into your NFTs? It's good to have a plan to know how people are going to be involved and connect with you after your project is live. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. You can visit my website, and happy to just say hi.
All right. Thank you so much, Miriam. I'm going to keep the screen up a little longer so everyone can see how to reach out to you. miriamreza@gmail.com or www.miriamreza.com. And then we'll include these links in the video description below, as well as her LinkedIn. But we're not quite done yet. We do want to find out a little bit more. The stuff you've shared with us, creating NFTs, being the designer, all that. I guess, first question is, how did you get started with all this?
How did I get started? I can't say there was really a starting point specifically, a specific point in time, but it just kind of gradually was a series of events that led into creating collections. One of my clients that I work for creating materials for investment funding, she originally wanted an NFT collection. That was the first collection that I had illustrated in September of 2021. Unfortunately, never went public. But from there, I kind of got the experience of, how do you create art that's generative? And it got me thinking, I really want to create more work. The Des Stems collection that I created in 2021 in December was the first opportunity that I had creating an NFT collection that went public, and also was their first NFT collection as well. It was still at a time when NFTs were very speculative and the technology wasn't as widely known, I'd say. So getting into the space, I feel like there weren't as many people in my circle that I personally knew who were doing it. So it was a very interesting experience, and it definitely felt very risk heavy since I personally did not know anyone who was really in the space and building at that time.
Yeah, it's being a pioneer is always difficult.
Mhm.
But of course, being a pioneer, there's usually someone who inspires you or helps you along, helps you get started. Who are some of those people and how do they inspire you?
I've met a lot of people in the crypto space going to different events. So I live in Miami, and if you walk down the street, I remember especially about two years ago, everyone and their neighbor was talking about blockchain, crypto, and Web3. It's really wonderful because there's a lot of events that are constantly happening. And I would say you don't need to live in a big city to get involved and go to different events. Join a Discord, go to events virtually, just get yourself into the room because that really helps to run and lead those conversations. My boyfriend originally got me into crypto in 2020, and now I'm teaching him a lot of things. So it's kind of funny how the roles have reversed in that way. But it's really cool that I've been able to get into NFT space and dive into a lot of things that are happening in that area and just kind of learn as the space evolves.
And of course, we do want to shout out a bit to your alma mater. Have any people from NC State or maybe the NC State community, have they been part of this journey as well?
Um, I I've really admired a lot of the professors that I've had. I'd say that Bong, if you know Bong, was probably one of my favorite professors while I was at state. He definitely believed in me while I was a student and always pushed me to just work the hardest and draw the hardest and like put the most effort into everything I can. So if you guys know Bong, he's really awesome and he's also really tough. He's also notorious for drawing on your work if it's not good enough. I hope I can say I've made my professors proud.
Well, I'm gonna say they probably are when he's looking back thinking, I used to draw on your papers, your tests, and now you're drawing on products. I think, you've done something. So you've talked about kind of where you've come from, what you're working on, a little bit of some of your upcoming goals, but if we're talking about your longest term goals, what would they be?
Oof, longest term goals, hard to
Yeah.
say. I always had envisioned having just different products on a shelf. As my background is in industrial design, I would really love to see just something that I've created just like on someone's like nightstand or just like on the shelves on display. But with what I love about NFTs is that you can get right into someone's phone with artwork that you create and have people appreciate that. So I definitely want to create more work that people distribute. The other thing I really want is I really want to create projects and help other people to give back, being someone who has definitely definitely taking a less traditional route in freelancing. I know how challenging it can be to build up your name. And so once I finally feel like I can build myself up enough, I definitely want to create opportunities for other people to build themselves up too.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, I feel like we should connect you with our earlier speaker, Colin. Some of the stuff that he's talking about, I feel like you two can work together. So kind of not exactly looking back, but more in the sense of you've been inspired, you're doing a lot of these things, you're able to work with all these people. There's probably some people who are trying to follow your footsteps, whether you realize it or not. So how would you like to impact those people?
Yeah, of course. So for everyone who is really inspired and wants to make projects, just go out there and do it. Get involved, talk to as many people as you can. I would consider myself a very introverted person. I was very shy at state, but just be out there and say, hey, I'm here. You get rewarded in crypto and in the blockchain space if you put yourself out there by being a part of projects, going to events and attending and saying, hey, I'm here. What can I do to help? These are my skills. Or just like, even if you don't know your skills, try to say like, hey, I'm here. I'm here to help. Like, I want to be a part of this. Just try to put yourself in the room.
All right. And for any NC State students and alums, anything specific for them?
For NC State students, I'd say that motto, think and do, is great. If you're the kind of person who overthinks, just do.
Yeah, actually, I think that's I don't know if people have heard about product market fit, but actually creating this hackathon, talking to several people, entrepreneurs, investors, to figure out how are we going to score these projects. One thing that kept coming up was product market fit, and they said you can think and plan and design all you want, but at some point you just got to go and find out. It's a brutal truth. Does the market want it or need it? And sometimes is it even for the purpose you want or not? And so I think what you said, think and do, makes a lot of sense. You do want to plan a little bit, but at some point you do have to go and test it. And that's where,
of course. And also don't be scared if your projects fail, because even project failure, I wouldn't consider it a failure. It just meant that it's a learning experience that you're going to get over to know what to do better next time. And any experience that you have in creating your own projects is something that you can build upon when you create your next thing.
Yeah, in fact, I would say for engineers, it's trial and error. For scientists, it's the scientific method. If you're coming from liberal arts, social experiment, you're basically just trying things, seeing what works and what doesn't. And a lot of it really comes down to you're just figuring out one more of 1,000 ways to not create the light bulb. And yeah, I mean, yeah, it is a little frustrating when you're like, oh, come on. But that's what makes it that much sweeter when you figure out this is the way you want to build your light bulb. So definitely want to encourage everyone, follow along with what Miriam is saying, think and do. And if you get stuck and you feel like you're starting to overthink, then just do. Get out into the market, test it, just go figure out what you have. Does it work? How can you make it work? And how can you take it forward?
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Miriam. Shout out to everyone at HackDW3C. Shout out to everyone at Hack NC State. Best of luck. We definitely want to support everything you're doing. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the Discords for either event. And also we will have, we already have on screen Miriam's contact information, her email and her website. We will include that as well as her LinkedIn link in the video description below. So if anyone has any questions, you can follow up. I guess before we close out, Miriam, any final words?
Come to the Duke Web3 conference. It's going to be awesome. You'll get to have an Donut Doge NFT airdrops and see the physical 3D prototype of that live as well too. So they'll be really awesome. Love to see you there.
All right. Yeah, and we will just to show everyone what that website looks like. If you want to come by campus, April 21st, 23rd. Also, if you're at Hack NC State, the environmental projects you build, you have 2 more weeks after this weekend. Submit to Hack NC State, definitely. But then you have 2 more weeks to add some Web3 elements. We have more talks and workshops for that. And then you can come by our campus to showcase your project and go for more prizes. And one of our sponsors, Hedera, their first place, their corporate challenge, the first place prize is $7,500. So definitely, if you have a Hack NC State project, it's environmental, add some Web3. In fact, I'll be giving a talk about tokenizing carbon credits, and that will fit their theme very well, reducing carbon footprints. So hope you enjoyed this talk with Miriam, proud NC State Wolfpack alum. I think I'm doing it right. Okay. Yeah, I had to get a quick tutorial because I went to high school in Texas, so I was doing it wrong. But definitely thank you so much, Miriam. Thank you, Hack NC State, for joining us for this event. And we'll be online in a few more minutes. I think, let me check, 4 o'clock. Yeah, 4 o'clock Eastern. We're going to have another talk with Miriam again, but also adding another proud NC State alum, Hunter Coleman. So stick around and we will see you in a bit.
Bye.